question. First question for the chat. Which rogue would you put in Among Us? Which rogue?
That's a great question.
Which rogue? Dima, Ronan, Kestrel, Anvil, see another Dima, a Mac. This is my copium, Star Wars.
This is my favorite thing to ask whenever we talk about rogues. It's like, what rogue would you choose? And there's like 20-something options, and you're like, oh no.
Glitch, Mac.
Which one?
Imagine. I mean, Glitch I think fits, right? Because if you ever wanted to mess with electrical.
Yeah, it'd be Glitch or
Easy.
Mac would be my picks personally. Because
Yeah.
Mac's an investigator, right?
Yeah.
Glitch for the hacker for sure. It'd be Mac or
Yeah.
Glitch. That's what I'd pick.
Glitch would be OP, though Mac, I just want to see Mac with that enormous claymore inside of Among Us. Like, that would be, those would be amazing, amazing kill animations. Where you're going to extend the party size. This is actually a top suggestion. So, AV and I just got out of a meeting where we were discussing suggestions and bugs in Rogue Company, and we were trying to go through, like, the top 30 bugs so that the team can properly prioritize for the next couple sprints. And we also talk about suggestions that you, the community, have given to me, the community manager, and this one is at the top of the list. It does take a not insignificant amount of work, but it is something that you all want, and I think we all want. I know it is something I want because I have a play group much larger than 4 people, and anytime I play Rogue Company, I just am so sad that I can't invite everyone.
Who's sad queuing on their own? Yeah, no, this is something we see all the time, and we constantly recommend it over. It's definitely on the top of the community wish list.
Goop, why don't you make it when you lose RP, when you lose rank games? That is fixed in this release. You now lose. Just ask Radthar.
We did it.
Just ask Radthar, guys. I did not just throw Radthar under the bus. Radthar, if you're here, I love you. You were great.
Listen, at least you didn't say go tweet Radthar asking, all right? Like it's
yeah. Leaderboards, I don't think are at the very top. I know the leaderboards have come up. Leaderboards are not something I think we have prioritized. I know that they've been discussed in the past, and AV might have a little bit more history with that.
Yeah, I mean the idea behind leaderboards, and this has come up with like our grassroots esports community too, where people want like specific data and stuff like that. It's just a lot of back-end data work and logging, and right now the main priority for us is getting a core game that's really solid and feels great, right? And that's like kind of the Rogue Company mission. So like these are things that we've discussed and talked about multiple times, and we will continue to discuss and talk about, and explore when the time is right.
Guess what, guys? Guess what? Pretty Hair is going to stop by.
Heyo.
He's going to stop by.
Also, when they cut his hair, I didn't think it could still be pretty, but he just proves me every day.
It's that mustache, man. Like, if you guys watched that episode of Twerk, whenever he had the full stash, I was in a meeting with him earlier that day, and I was like, "Are you going to record Twerk with that mustache?" And he goes, "Yeah, I guess I am."
Pretty mustache. Hey, yeah, there you go.
Isaiah's here.
He made it.
So we just answered the question about the team of 6 versus team of 4 for especially like the 6v6 game modes. Again, like to reiterate, this is something we absolutely want to do, and I believe that the team is going to slowly make progress on, but it's not an insignificant amount of work, which is why it hasn't quite been done yet. See if Nick is in here. The other Nick.
I see
watching.
Cooper in here asking about switch crashes. That's something we're acutely aware of, and we are heavily working on. We've noticed a lot of those crashes coming up since Sinister Shadows came out. Specifically, it was correct me if I'm wrong, Minnie, but it was around Wanted on a couple occasions is what we saw.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were just talking to the team about this, and that's something we're acutely aware of and working on.
Cygnus, whenever it comes to content creator, just go ahead and send me a DM. I'll see if I can dig you out of the application list. So we've had a couple issues with applications where it wasn't collecting all of your data. So for your application, that is. So if you were putting in like your Instagram and this, that, and the other, it wasn't collecting that. And that was briefly an issue. So that might have been a time period in which you applied. So just go ahead and drop me a DM and I'll see if I can fish you out of that list. So what is your priority? Right now, I would say the priority is a lot of bug fixes and quality of life changes. Bug fixes are really, really top of the list as players, as players know, as all of you guys know, as I know, as someone that plays a lot of Rogue Company. The last 4 or so releases, patches have kind of, there's been a lot of pain points, and this isn't surprising. We've released a lot of really big systems, like Weapon Mastery is a huge system. It interacts with a lot of parts of the game. So it's basically like everything you pick up in a match will go to Weapon Mastery. Like if you pick up a teammate's gun, you gain mastery in that. That's a lot of information for the server to communicate back, etc. So there's a lot of like moving pieces and things like Weapon Mastery. So of course, there's going to be things like the A3 salvo pop up that some of you are getting every single match, despite
Oh, that salvo though.
that salvo. The salvo just really wants you to pick it. Like,
Just please pick me.
please pick
Please.
me. Please pick me. I'm the A3 salvo. Why have you forgotten me? And you're like, salvo, I just don't. It's just we're not friends anymore.
Right.
Anyways, so bugs like that I think are kind of to be expected whenever we're introducing really big systems. But right now, that is where a lot of the priority is. The priority is in bug fixes and performance. So performance, such as things around. Hold on, I'm answering a question from Pretty Hair.
You're good. I'm gonna go ahead and take one of these too. I see. I apologize. I cannot pronounce your name. I believe it's in Russian. Can there be more YouTuber streamer characters in the game like Mr. Beast and such? I mean, that's always collaborations are always fun, and we're always looking at collaborations that work for us. I mean, I think obviously the big one that everyone knows about was Doctor Disrespect, right? That we did last year. Had a lot of fun. I was the one that actually ran the social campaign for that, and I had a lot of fun doing that and everything together on that. We're always looking for partnerships that work for us and also work for others. Partnerships that make sense and support the community in a healthy way. And so I cannot confirm that we're doing any more partnerships with streamers, YouTubers. But it's something we're always considering looking into and seeing if it's fitting for the community and in our game.
Hey, he's here.
Oh man, it's Pretty Hair. What's up, dude?
Hello, everyone.
Welcome.
What is this? This is a cool little feature.
Yeah, man.
It's a stage.
A stage. Look
Welcome
at us.
to Clubhouse, but available on everything, including iOS. Not at all a diss. I love Clubhouse. I'm sorry, Isaiah. I know he's in the chat too.
Is Clubhouse on Android now?
I don't think it is. I think it's still iOS.
All right.
I don't know. I've just made that joke with Isaiah in the room for the last
Where's
year.
the chat? Are you streaming as well?
No, it's just in Fireside chat above us. It has
Gotcha.
Yeah, just click the hash and then you'll see it all there. Can we expect any music or announcer packs in the future? Nothing that I'm aware of right now. We always obviously look at the lobby music, and I don't know. I mean, I'm sure many of you guys saw the vibing cat meme that we did for the lobby music for season 3. That was just
a work of art.
I was so good. The season 3 music is definitely like the biggest departure. The season 4 stuff that you guys are hearing now is actually pretty chill too. But unfortunately, we weren't able to do anything with those across like social media or any of our campaigns or anything like that. But it's also super cool. Lobby music always, this is something we touch on pretty frequently. And in the future, if we have any fun stuff like that, we'll be sure to share it and or meme it for you guys early on.
I did see a question about Instagram, Twitter, content creators. So as someone, with the reins of the content creator program, so my plans and my thoughts with this is we're going to be doing some updates to like the web page that you see whenever you land on creators. And with that, there are going to be some updates about like the kind of content creators we have, because right now it's mostly YouTubers and streamers, right? And I want to open that up to people on Instagram, people potentially on Twitter. We already have some Facebook communities, especially non-English communities and our international communities. But I also want to open that up to cosplayers, fan artists, musicians, people that do even things like Rogue Company graffiti, like whatever that may encompass. So that's something that I really want to open up the creator program to in the future. So so it's not just essentially video production, but it's also if you make art, if you cosplay, if these are things that you love to do around Rogue Company, you have a place in the content creator program. So
absolutely, man. There's been some incredible cosplay too, and some of the art. I've even seen it as some profile pictures in the chat room right now. The Lego glitch was so awesome. Oh my gosh, I loved featuring that across social media when we saw that from the community. That was so cool. All about supporting art and stuff like that, especially some of the cosplays too. That Dahlia cosplay from 2 weeks ago was nuts.
maybe you can answer this one pretty here. Are we going to see an improvement on ranked rewards? And also, will we see the option to swap pistols with weapon mastery in the future? Not to put you on the spot, but
we actually talked about that today. We really want to add like the melee and the pistol to the weapon mastery stuff, because it really is set up in game right now to lead you to believe that you could unlock it just like anything else. It's something that's on our radar. It's something that we want to do. It's just about finding the time to get it done. But definitely expect that to come at some point. I know I've had friends that have mastered pistols and stuff like that. They're like, wait, you can't. Oh no, I can't use the Spitfire. I spent all this time mastering it, and you're totally right to feel that way. So we are going to add the ability to kind of swap your pistols and your melees around. As far as the guy asking if we can get new drone sounds on Plague Witch Kestrel, I hear you. This is kind of a fun one. It's something that's really cool to do, but like maybe as something like only you as the Plague Witch Kestrel hears, because ability audio being consistent is pretty important for like gameplay tells and like knowing what's coming when and that type of stuff. But that's something we could totally. It's not my decision to make. I could totally bring that up like with audio and see if they'd be open to trying something like that. Right. I love that skin. I think it has so many like cool things about it, and like changing the ability audio for like the local player only would be cool. It's just about like if that's cool with you guys, that like it's only you that hears it, and it's not like you don't get to like a skin's kind of about like stunting on everyone else, right? Like showing off your stuff, but like absolutely. I suppose like if it's cool to like just you hear it, then that could be cool for sure.
That's always the trigger, right? Like, especially when you go into like the competitive, like that was the one thing I learned when we both worked on Paladins, right? Was like all the competitive noises and stuff. Whew, you got to make sure they're all even, because otherwise suddenly it's a throw off tell, right?
Right. Absolutely.
Man, that Kestrel skin though. Whew. Love it.
Yeah, that skin's absolutely fire. Honestly, all the battle skins
really are
really sick.
Yeah. Yeah, that was not. Whenever I was recording the update note show, that was not me faking. Whenever I saw that Kestrel skin, I was like, "Wow, that is." Ooh, I need this.
It's insane.
There's funny. I see a question. I've seen two questions while we were talking about the A3 salvo pop up.
Yeah.
We were just bugging this in a meeting before this. It is a bug, y'all. It's not intended to pop up. So that's something that we hope to fix. I know that is. It really wants you to know that you have mastered the A3 salvo right now. So I'm really sorry that you guys are getting that pop up all the time. So here's a question about dodgeball. Do you think dodgeball could become a permanent mode?
I don't know about permanent. We don't want to have too many permanent modes. I think dodgeball is very unique, and it is a little more like LTME. It's definitely like a mechanic that we think is pretty cool and that we want to leverage more. But as far as like making it permanent, I won't speak definitively on it, but I wouldn't expect that anytime soon, personally.
Yeah.
I see a question here about the scope. I wasn't sure. Is that what you're going to point out too many? Because I know we've talked about this previously.
Yeah, the LR15.
The LR15 scope.
Full body.
Versus like the close zoom versus the far zoom, and kind of what we're doing around that. If you want to touch on that.
Oh yeah, so we reverted it back to the old way. The feedback was kind of like some people liked it, some people hated it, some people were like, I'm like I could go either way on it. So basically we're reverting it until we can re-implement it as a toggle zoom. So you could like you're gonna scope in, and then like it's probably gonna be like your sprint keybind, right? That like toggles between, because you can't sprint when you're scoped in, right? So like that keybind becomes toggle zoom at that point. and you can kick between the old and the new FOV and zoom levels.
Yeah, we saw that recommendation, and we talked about it with Pretty Hair and the rest of the design team. It's like, oh yeah, if we can do that, so it's like the player choice, that makes perfect sense to us.
So question about Middle Eastern servers that I know there's players in here asking this. I know that there were some questions that came up in one of, I think it was the Canon update about some players were blocked. And unfortunately, this is one of those things that's not necessarily up to us. And in some cases, like players who have been unable to play Rogue Company or access Rogue Company that live in the Middle East, this is unfortunately just due to country law. So our hands are kind of tied in that regard. I can't really speak to whether or not we would be adding Middle Eastern servers and support for that. So unfortunately, I can't really give like a concrete answer on that one. And also just like for the players that have been struggling with being with being unable to play, I did bring this up to our live team, and our live team was like, unfortunately, we can't do anything because it has to do with embargoes. So I'm really sorry for our players in these regions that are that have had a really poor experience, and I'm aware, and I've brought it up to the team, and it's unfortunately something where our hands are really tied. How does ranked even work? Won a 10 out of 10 with the homies. I got plat 2, they got silver 3, sad face. Hell no, is that something you can speak to?
I think I don't know if 100% like that scenario. Okay, let me read this. Where is this? I won 10 out of 10. I got plat, they got silver. It probably like, have you played ranked before? Have they played ranked before? I think if you have like a ranked, did you play all 10 with your friends? Like it's kind of like we need a lot of details about that scenario, I think.
Were they all the same rank before? I don't know exactly all the intricacies of our rank system. I know with
I don't know like
League,
the back end like matchmaking stuff. I don't necessarily have visibility on.
Yeah, it's not something I'm super familiar with.
If I had to take an uneducated guess, just me spitballing, because like playing ranked in other games too, like generally when something like that happens, it's like you're at a higher MMR point than your friends when you all started to play those qualifiers. And even though you all won the same 10 games together, like you just ended in a higher place because you started in a higher place. I don't know exactly how we do it on our back end, but that's like my experience in other games and other ranked stuff like that can happen for sure.
had at a Max Santa skin. I love that.
Which it's not that we don't know how the own ranking system works. It's just like somebody does, right? It's just not me or Nick or Minnie. That we're not like back end matchmaking people.
I can do social media analytics. I cannot do ranked analytics.
Yeah,
It's not my specialty.
Exactly.
I did see some questions around. There were a lot of them talking specifically about a gift system in the store, and or supporting support a creator extending beyond Epic, right? One of the big things is like Epic's support a creator is exclusive to Epic, right? Like that's Epic's program. We do not run it. We just participate in it, and we always have. When we look at like gift in store things and various other elements, I mean, that's something that the team is always looking into on the monetization side, right? Our monetization and marketing team. But it's something that, again, takes a lot of implementation to do and affects a lot of different things. And much like Minnie was talking about with servers, when it comes to like various countries and conversions and things like that, it's a pretty big process. I mean, at the end of the day, like we always love to support our creators as much as we possibly can. Yep. With Epic having that existing infrastructure, it allowed us to do it right out of the gate. But
so for your knowledge, and for players, so the Epic support a creator is through Epic. So essentially, whenever you're purchasing something from the store, the say Microsoft, say Sony, Epic, or Steam. They take a cut. They take a percentage out of that. So, so I believe Epic takes 20%, and like this is all like common knowledge, but it takes like 20%. Steam takes 30, I think it is, or maybe it's like 10 and 25. I can't remember. So Epic takes less, which is why a lot of developers started to gravitate towards Epic, was because they get a larger cut out of what the transactions in the game than something like Steam or Apple. And so what's happening is whenever that transaction goes through, Epic is taking some of their pot and instead giving it to creators.
Correct,
so instead of them taking like say the 20%, they're taking like 15% and then giving you like the theoretical 5%. So if this was to ever exist on console, that's up to Microsoft or Sony to basically be the middleman in those transactions to give you part of that slice of their pie. So
Right.
that's where that sits. It's unfortunately just, it's not up to us. Yeah, so Epic takes, yeah, someone said in chat, like Epic takes less than Steam, and that's again, like, this gets into like this bigger question and this bigger conversation, but it's the reason a lot of developers started to gravitate towards Epic, because they were like, oh, I actually get more out of this cut, and it's actually potentially better for players. We can reduce that price so that we get, yeah, so whole conversation there. There was a question that I would love, because I don't know how long you can be here with us, Pretty Hair, but
I have till 5. I got about 30 minutes, and then I got to go. We're doing a
awesome.
VO session for a new rogue that I won't be spoiling. The spoiler is there's another rogue coming to Rogue Company.
That's exciting.
That's the teaser, guys.
Can you freaking believe it?
I, for one, am surprised.
Demonji, I'm gonna mess that name up so bad, and I'm so sorry, but you do have an adorable glitch Lego icon, and I appreciate you. He asked, or they asked, so what pushed you guys to make the change for the health regen, seeing a lot of people's mixed feelings?
This one is basically around it. Like, it affects the pacing of the game a lot. And trust me, I like to go fast. All right, I'm with some of you guys on this, but there's certain things we're trying to address with this. Primarily, feeling like with DMRs or snipers or something like super long range, when you're landing poke damage, that there's not enough time for you to reasonably follow up on poke damage you might have dealt, or push up to a place to be in a spot to follow up on it without their health starting to regen or having already regened or something like that. So it's just kind of a pacing thing and trying to help out some of our lower performing weapons, which are, when we look at DMRs and snipers, we look at like, okay, what are some things we can do without like changing damage directly, right? Because I think like a lot of those weapons, time to kills and the way those guns actually function are in a pretty good spot. So what are some other things we can try to help these weapons be a bit more effective?
Yep. Any hints about Guava's spider ability? Nope. Nada. You are not getting anything from us. I am sorry, friend.
Soon, though. I mean, it's like, yeah, it's just around. You guys will learn all about it just around the corner.
Soon, DM.
This is where I post a picture of some really amazing leaks. And maybe a leaky faucet.
I'm thinking about cooking with some leaks later. You'll have to give me some recommendations.
Excellent. Some nice leaks. Can we talk about any plans to balance matchmaking? So I can say with matchmaking, I don't know if Pretty Hair has more about this. I know he's on design, but I know with matchmaking, we've been running some matchmaking tests. So we ran one last Wednesday, and we ran one, I believe, the Tuesday before that. So we are testing out a new matchmaking system, and we've been running short tests. It's the reason that contracts broke, actually, about 2 weeks ago. And then again on the Wednesday, which we did finally resolve. It was an issue that we weren't able to replicate on our internal servers, on our development server, and on PTS. So it was really strange, and we couldn't figure out initially why they were breaking, but only on live. So finally resolved that. Yay. But we've been running tests with a new matchmaking system, and we want to make sure that by the time we kind of roll it out to you guys, that it's in a better place. But we know that matchmaking is a pain point that a lot of players have right now.
Absolutely.
I see a couple people talking about like ranked rewards and stuff, and something that is in one of Tragedy's videos of just like having different modes in ranked is something that sounds super exciting to me, because I'm not the biggest demolition guy, right? But I might mess with a strikeout ranked like a lot harder, or a whatever ranked. Like how interested would you guys be in rotating out game modes in ranked? How often would you want multiple game modes per season, or would you want like it to just be strikeout for a season, then just demolition for a season, or something like that?
Wow.
That could be a fun one, right? Like I think that's something we're really excited. But for us, there's a lot to talk about internally still. So
a lot of love
it's something
here.
we think is going to be, would be super interesting, and just to keep ranked fresh, right, season to season. And not everyone is a demo guy, not everyone's a strikeout person, not everyone likes King of the Hill, like or team deathmatch or whatever it is. This kind of ties in. A lot of people are talking about team deathmatch as a permanent mode, and it was for a little bit. And what we make permanent modes, I think, is primarily on like statistics. Like we see how many matches are played per mode as they go in as LTMs or as their core modes and stuff like that. And team deathmatch is just like the classic shooter mode, right? It's something that's like, I think, very important for like a shooter to have. It's important to have just in that sense of you can go in here, mess around, just learn a new rogue. It's fun. It's a good time. Everyone understands it. The objective is like just kill people, right? There's not anything you need to understand fundamentally about that mode. But if you guys, that being said, if you like King of the Hill, it's okay to just keep saying that. It just play a ton of it when it's out as an LTM, because like overwhelming statistical like dominant LTMs that get played a ton is that's the primary force that drives like what we bring back more often. That is us, you guys telling us what you liked and what you want to play more of. So
absolutely,
that's kind of how we drive those decisions.
About
Are people still getting
the
the Xbox buzzing thing?
Oh!
I see people are talking about like audio bug, and I'm assuming that's what that means.
Right.
Are you still getting the buzzing post patch? Post
Yeah,
update.
like in the new in Dark Sinister Shadows, yeah.
The Sinister Shadows, yeah.
Is it as in you get into the lobby and it's just blasting you with audio? Is it that one?
One guy's saying it's you lose all sound in game.
That one I know about. Okay, so let's talk about audio issues really quick, guys. So since you guys are here as like my captive audience for Buzz, love y'all. There are like 4 audio. Let me just open up my list. Let me open it, guys. Let's talk about audio real quick. So there's a couple audio issues, and do you still get the buzzing in the lobby on Xbox? Like that awful screechy Xbox One blast your ears out buzz. Several people are typing. Buzzing sounds like bloody murder. Is it still happening?
I have a bunch of buddies that I play with that got it all the time. They haven't complained about it
update,
yet.
right? Yeah.
So that's why I ask. I'm like, they normally they blow my phone up every day, like when they're playing and they get it, and have not had that happen yet since the patch. We think it's like breach related, maybe.
Oh wait, what about the aim assist that feels so off on PC? There is a bug. So
yes.
This one I know about. So basically, if someone is behind there is a bug. If someone is behind a cover, and you only see their head pop up, your aim assist will not essentially lock onto their head. So this is one of the few times where I'm like, mouse and keyboard, never noticed. Because I play mouse and keyboard. But yes, there is an issue where it's like if someone pops up out of cover and you go to shoot them, the aim assist doesn't like lock.
Correct.
Just the head. So
we're just talking about this one earlier today too, yeah.
Just talking about it today as well. There was a question in here. Let me see if I can find it.
I've seen a couple questions about the Xbox bundle, like the Season 4 bundle. I know everyone's probably seen that there's a PlayStation bundle, as we always do, and a bundle on Epic, which we're excited to do. There's some hiccups with the Xbox bundle. It's my understanding that it is still being worked on, but once that's resolved, you guys will see it for Season 4 come up, and we'll be sure to communicate all of our social media and all the goodies.
So just so you guys know, audio bugs we are aware of. I'm just reading off this list. Players unable to record sound clips with sound on Xbox One. All sounds except footsteps disappear whenever the round ends. Specifically demolition. Nova weapon wrap causing audio distortion. We think it also may be related to whenever people lose sound and then they pick up a enemy weapon and the sound returns until they die, which basically resets their loadout. So we're aware of that, and also cannon causing distortion with the Gatling gun. We are aware of those bugs, and they are all on our high priority list. Oh, let's talk about Talon. Demanji. Let's while you were here, pretty hair, let's talk about Talon.
Yes, I just finished my video. I made about, I don't know how long is it? I think it's like about 3 or 4 minute long video, kind of diving in deeper on, and this is going to be something we try to do more on the patch notes, just because it's totally valid. You guys give the feedback. Sometimes you feel like we just change stuff for no reason. You guys have no idea why. Well, that's our fault just for not giving the reasoning. So we're going to try to do a better job of giving our reasoning for changes and bigger stuff like this anyway. I have a video. It's uploaded, and Nick's probably going to post it on social media and wherever it needs to be.
Yes, sir.
But basically, we're just going into deeper why we made that change, and it's a good conversation, right? When you look at like what other Intel rogues bring to the table in Rogue Company, it's usually those true reveals. Talon just brings the radar detection thing, which is cool. It's unique. It's something that only he does, and a lot of people like that, and I understand that. But in our game, there's not a ton of stuff going on the radar. It's really just like people shooting pop up as the red darts, and like if you're glitch, you can see your radius on there. So like, as like I'm an Intel character, I'm trying to give my team intel. When there's not a lot going on the radar, your teammates aren't really like trained to like look up there so much. They're much more used to looking in the world and getting all that they need to play the game and make their decisions in the world. And that's where the true reveals are, right? When Dallas or Seeker lights somebody up, that's where your teammates see him. They get a little ping noise. They see the red outline. It tracks their movement. We think that the true reveals like that are a lot stronger, obviously, than what Talon was able to do. But he had that sort of stealth element about them. Basically, it's a part of his play rate. Statistically, we wanted to do something to like excite people and make more people play Talon. A lot of people are regarding it as a nerf. I personally think the true reveal is stronger. The biggest side effect of this is that now people know that they're being revealed by Talon, which is totally valid. It's a trade-off there, but we think the trade-off is worth it. As an Intel rogue right now in Rogue Company, that generally means you're revealing enemies for your team to kind of play around. And Talon, he did that in his own like little special niche way that we think maybe people just aren't aware enough of this. They just aren't playing around Talon's ability, revealing people, detecting them only on the radar. Let's bring it to an in-world reveal like every other Intel rogue, and see kind of how people respond to it. As far as the radius change, a lot of people are upset about the range. Part of the reason that we were scared and wanted to make the range a little bit smaller is the bigger that range is, the more like cheesy spots there is to put that dart to where if I'm an enemy and I'm getting revealed by this thing, like I just have no chance to get to this thing. Like it's tucked up in this corner somewhere and the range is big enough to reveal this really important choke point. Like I have I use a couple of the examples. Even with the small radius, there's a couple of like cheesy spots, right, that you can do this. One I show in the video is on High Castle. You can like stick it to this wall that's in mid, and you can basically reveal everybody that's inside of the little like kitchen area, and they're coming out to like come to the small courtyard where I think it's the B bomb site is. The bomb site that's not on the wizard tower, obviously. So you can stick it there, and now I'm revealed anytime I come through like this super critical choke point. but I can't destroy this dart unless I'm glitch, or if I literally get control of mid to get an angle on this thing. So it's like, it's this trade-off, right? We have to be careful about making this radius too big and allowing these like cheesy spots to come through. So it's a change that we feel really good about. That was a lot of words I threw at you, but we have a video coming later on all these thoughts and why we did what we did. And you know, nothing is set in stone forever, right? That we're just want to be careful with the radius right now. And if statistics and people continue to, you know, let us know that, hey, we think the radius could be a little bit bigger on this thing, then we're going to do so. But we do not see that as a straight up nerf to talent. It's just it's a change to the fundamental way that ability kind of works and reveals people, that we think is stronger than the way that he used to reveal people. And so we think as a result of that, some of that radius needed to come down.
Excellent.
Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
Great talk, honestly. You did a great
Also,
job.
another quick little thing is, like, people knowing that they're revealed leads them to destroy the dart a little bit more often, which is sometimes it's frustrating, especially when you're used to like this thing just being there silently and that was that. We think it promotes a more active play style with your mag gloves. So like you're throwing the dart and mag gloving it back a lot more often, as opposed to just throwing it and forgetting about it and just leaving it there forever. So a more symbiotic relationship is definitely promoted and there and present now with the mag gloves than it was before.
Mag gloves are such an underrated ability. I absolutely love them.
Yeah, and hopefully this pushes people to want to leverage that a little bit more.
So I did see a couple questions, and I want to kind of like tie them. This is from a while back. Okay, so I'm just going to run through it. One, TDM trip mines. We were just having this conversation in a meeting before, and it was funny because we went right into this, and
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to circle back with design. So hello, design. But trip mines in TDM specifically, do not despawn. So gadget spam, real.
Yeah, it's just a bug. It's something that we're looking to fix. I think it also happens with sticky cameras as well. So it's something we're aware of and something that we're going to fix, and it's a bug and it shouldn't be working that way. It's basically the goal is I'm Trench. I can have 3 trip mines at max, right? When I buy all the upgrades and my passive gives me 1, I have 3. I can place 3 in the world, and that's cool. When I place a 4th, it should get rid of the first one that I put down. You can only have a maximum of whatever. And for everyone else that's not Trench, that number is 2. That number is not 3. It's only Trench that can get to 3. So once you breach the amount of gadgets in world beyond what you can carry, we start just getting rid of the oldest one, if that makes sense. So when you can carry 2, when you place the 3rd one, it gets rid of the first one you put down. And when you can carry 3 like Trench, when you put the 4th one down, it should get rid of the first one. That's our goal.
Are we going to have text chat or voice chat during games between both teams?
Probably not.
Probably not.
It was
also,
it was like a cesspool of just mean words.
Yeah.
And
yeah. So it's the reason that League of Legends has removed their all chat. As someone who worked at Riot, there was no reason for all chat except to really just either shit
to
talk
troll
about
or
your
just
team.
be mean.
Yeah, or to like be cruel to the
say, hey guys, we're doing Baron. It's like, all right, bud, come on.
Just wanted to let y'all know my shitty team is doing Baron. Go wipe them. Like it was really just used to just be cruel and to troll people and just be toxic in general. So I can imagine if we would ever put in text chat, all chat basically.
Also, it's a crossplay game, and consoles don't often have access to keyboard, so it's like,
correct.
It's a little strange.
Yeah, that would be difficult.
Trying to type a one-word response with your Xbox keyboard in the middle of a match.
Although it would be funny if you could open chat and just type like with the A, B, X, and Y.
Yeah.
And you're only allowed to make messages with those characters.
It's like an old school cell phone where you have to like cycle the Y right?
Like one is like half the alphabet or like a quarter of the alphabet, the other's the other quarter of the alphabet. You have to
Welcome back to 2007. Here's your Motorola Razr.
The T9 days.
Here's your Motorola Razr. I love it. Oh my god. What about a way to vote which rogue to ban in ranked? Interesting suggestion.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Basically, a way to vote on who you would ban in ranked, which rogue.
Gotcha. So the way we have it set up is, I believe it's either the person who made the custom lobby, or is in like the first slot in your custom lobby team, or it's the highest MMR player gets to be like the person that bans the rogues for your team. I don't think we don't have any plans to like put that to a team vote, especially right now, but we could probably talk about like allowing you to at least express intent of like, hey, if it were me, I would ban this or that. But I don't think we have any plans to like give control away from the highest MMR player on your team.
So Green Boy has asked a couple questions. Linux compatibility, I will mention it to. I know this is EAC related. I will see with the team about that. I know you've asked it before. 2, are reports of cheaters and throwers being seen and acted upon? Yes. So let me get into this a little bit. Is Tony here?
No, but
here?
I was about to
Tony
say
is not
Tony
here.
is like the Grim Reaper for hackers, man. That guy's just
It's
a lot of
he is.
pleasuring
experience.
him at work is a true pleasure.
So Radar, you guys are familiar with Radar, bless him. I have come in at like 2 in the morning and just sent him someone that was terrible to us in Smite or terrible to us in Roku, and he's like looking into it, and then he'll be like, they're gone. I'm like, oh Jesus, okay. Like, he is the Grim Reaper of Roku. So reports, yes. TLDR with reports is, you do have a couple.
That guy goes, "Hey, Uncle Tony, bada bing, bada boom." He takes care of him.
Oh my god! Please, someone screen cap this.
Let me screen cap that and send it to Uncle Tony. That's incredible.
Oh, jeez.
That is like frame worthy for Tony's cube. That's amazing.
Oh my god! Can we put that on a mug for him for Christmas? And
that's his Christmas gift. That and his quilt. We're gonna send him the mug and the quilt.
Oh my god, the mug and the quilt, so that y'all have context.
Oh yeah, we have to explain the quilt. This is not
This is interrupting a question. I swear I will get back to. I'm so sorry, Green Boy, but
I apologize.
So basically, Tony Radar, whenever we're in meetings with him, his camera will often freeze or his connection will freeze and he'll drop out of the meeting, but he's usually like just sitting there in like some disappointed looking pose. Like his face just looks disappointed. And so every single time AV takes a screen cap, so we're waiting until we have enough that we can get like a beautiful quilt.
Nice quilt of Tony's frozen faces.
Oh god, I love it so much. I love that so much. Okay,
Uncle Tony is my favorite thing. I have passed this along to Tony as well, everyone. Radar knows.
Oh, God bless Gabagool, Uncle Tony.
That was great. That's probably my favorite comment I've read all week.
Shout outs to Plague Season, man. You
oh
win.
my god,
What a
that's
champ.
incredible.
You win, bud. All right, I got 5 minutes left.
We do.
5 minutes.
Time for one more me question. People were saying map voting. Map voting would that sounds awesome. I'll definitely like bring that to the team and we'll talk about it. Talk about it with Uncle Tony.
I'll finish
Map vote. I would love map voting. That would be cool, man. That would be cool. New like if with the new like scope toggle thing, I think we would be, especially for like the MLX Mark IV and the RN, like the like scoped DMRs and ARs, like the work is already done for those weapons. So I could definitely see us implementing the toggle to be like, oh, I want to be like 3P or 1P with this gun. And that could be like a cool like thing that only that AR, only that DMR can do. Again, because like it used to be that way with the Mark IV, so the work's already done. So we would definitely be down to explore something like that. I'm not going to commit to it here, but that's we've definitely talked about that.
By the way, Tony has Radar has responded with forget about it.
You gotta say it. You gotta say it right. Pretty Hair's got the voice down.
Oh man, forget about it.
There it is. Beautiful.
Oh, good stuff.
This is incredible.
You have Pretty Hair for 4 more minutes, guys. Ask questions. He can answer. Only he can answer. Everyone typing furiously.
Ba-da-da-da-da.
Hints about the new rogue? No, sir. No spoilers here.
When I'm glitched and using my hack, if people have their ability and gadgets in hand, they are still able to use this. I think it's yeah, I mean, you're right. There is like this moment where you're not hacked until you're hacked, right? So like if you have a grenade that's already cooking, you're not prevented from like letting that grenade come out of your hand or something like that. So that's just kind of how that ability works. Sorry if that's not a satisfying answer to you.
How are you so pretty?
Subjective.
Good answer. Respect.
Arms dealer? Oh, I did
You
see
act
a
like that's the
question.
first time I've been asked that question, Nick.
Oh no. Many a time. I had to explain your hair to Kristen the other day. It was hilarious.
And
Yeah,
now it's
and then
gone, and now I have a
used to
mustache.
have
Somebody was
hair.
like, "Can you change your mustache and beard and hair every episode of Twerk?" I'm like, I don't think it grows fast enough,
Yeah,
but
oh,
I would
man.
if I
We
could.
need to get you some wigs.
I have seen some questions about arms dealer. There was a question far back from one of our creators that was asking about, we have seasonal contracts and we have, like battle pass and we have dailies and all of those things. What about arms dealer contracts? And will we ever see another arms dealer event? Can we talk about that?
I mean, if you guys liked that style of event, that's really good feedback that we can take and do more events like that. Sure. Absolutely.
I'm still loving this bada bing, bada boom.
Oh yeah.
Sorry,
Still got my
Will
feet
Battle
has
Royale
made my
ever be
day.
something in the Roko universe? You never know.
Oh, here's one. Bots. Bunny asks, are we bringing bot replacement back for when players randomly decide to leave? And can we bring back the option to change weapon design separately? Because right now you change it to one, it applies to all rogues. Yes, okay. Let's talk about bots for a little bit. You have 1 minute. Oh God. So I know bots are supposed to they're supposed to bridge the gap between it's technically called human backfill, and the current system of not having anything like that in place. We removed them from everything except 6v6 because they were creating a pretty poor experience. I don't know if we have plans to bring them back before human backfill is in. I could be wrong.
So yeah, the goal is for a player to fill that spot.
Right. Yeah, that's what we mean by human backfill. I'm so sorry. That sounds so weird.
I know.
Sounds
I've
like
always
Soylent
hated
Green.
that we called it human backfill. I'm like,
It
it sounds like
does.
this like evil corp like
does.
program.
It sounds like Soylent Green. It's just like ooh, like
Yeah.
very strange. But yeah, so that's the human backfill, basically a player replacing someone in a match whenever someone has left or disconnected. That is something that is in progress. So bots were supposed to kind of fill in that gap. I think the battle pass being so small and easy to finish, more events need to be done. How do y'all finish this? And so I'm impressed. Y'all are amazing. That's great feedback. I can pass that along. We get some type of reward for playing with friends. I think that's also a really great suggestion. More achievement reputation for new players. Any plans on adding more I don't know if we're going to ever add more seasonal challenges. I know that there's also we just got out of a meeting where we talked about issues with seasonal contracts. So I would really like to get that nailed down first, so that if you guys are trying to work out a contract to get a reward for a seasonal contract, that you can get that reward. All right, do you have to leave us now?
Yes, that is
Okay.
it for me. Thank you everybody
It was a
for the
pleasure, sir.
questions and hanging out. I appreciated it. And we got a great clip of all of us laughing about Uncle Tony out of it.
Beautiful. Have a good one, man. Enjoy
All
the
right.
weekend. Thanks
Later,
again.
everybody. Have a good weekend. Play Rogue Company. Let's get it.
This is the best ad for Rogue Company I've ever heard. We should have recorded that.
I know, we should have. I mean, I still like
Have a good
the
weekend.
uncle.
Play Rogue Company. Get it.
Get it.
Signed to Pretty Hair 2021.
Uncle Tony, bada bing, bada boom. He takes care of. You guys have destroyed me with that.
She's gonna be laughing about this well into our Final Fantasy raid nights. I swear.
I'm gonna be doing. So anyone that plays Final Fantasy 14, there's probably like 2 people. The Venn diagram overlap of Rogue Company. It's probably just you and I for people that play Roco and Final Fantasy 14. Not sure if any of you do it, but I'm gonna be doing E4S tonight and still chortling over that. Oh yes, please send me that clip. Okay, Green Boy, I promised you an answer. So let me go and scroll up here.
Is this the Linux conversation point?
There was a Linux conversation. I am going to bring
DAC,
that up.
right? Yeah.
I think I should take that to operations. So I'll do that after this. And there was a question in here about there was 3 questions. I don't remember your third question. I will answer the second question because I do remember that one. Your second question was whether or not the reports in which you send are actioned upon, if they are used, if they're useful. The answer is yes. So, but there's also, let me explain how. So whenever we get reports of a player being really toxic, for instance, and we look at that report, we will frequently then see if there are other reports about that player made by other players for the same thing. And that's just to confirm, like, yes, this person has a history of this behavior. And that really does help us. There are also times where players have kind of like told on themselves, where we've looked at a report for someone being toxic and then found out that that person that we're investigating has sent in reports and they have used things like hate speech words to report their teammates falsely. So that's really helpful. And there is sometimes like noise in all of this where we do have like a handful of really passionate players that will falsely report every single teammate that they play with. And so sometimes we'll receive like 1,100 reports from one player in a 30-day period, and that can make parsing through those reports a little bit slower of a process. So if you are indeed reporting someone that you've played with, make sure that there's a reason, and because that does really, really help us. And please do not just falsely report teammates. I have played with people in other games who, I had a friend whenever I played Overwatch who would report every single Doomfist player as a bug. Please do not do that in Rogue Company for the sake of us. He would just be like, you're playing Doomfist, reporting you as a bug, and I was like, dude, that's not how that works.
But like you're saying, it's a lot to sift through, right? Like that's the big thing. And then because we're having to sift and parse, suddenly it becomes a more grueling process to get the actual, right?
Yep. So it's like false reports slow down valid reports, and giving us as many details as possible in your report is fantastic and super appreciated. So yes, reports are useful. Yes, we do look at them, and if a player has a history of like false reporting, we're less likely to look into their reports. If they have a history of sending us like good reports, or we're looking into someone else's history of, has this person been reported, and there's like 12 or 13 other reports against them, all for the same thing in a short period of time, yeah, we can assume that these are all pretty valid and this person is indeed exhibiting this behavior. The third question you had, are we getting a Christmas event of some sort? I could never tell you until such time as we would be doing an event. Are we getting
Let Thanksgiving breathe, guys? Come on. Everyone forgets it's a holiday.
Halloween was like holding the line, like goth kids holding the line against Christmas.
But it's always like that. It's always like that funny thing, right? Where it's like October 31st versus November 1st. Like all those memes that go around social media and stuff. It's just like, but it's so real.
By the way, there was a question about why not record the whole thing and put it on Spotify or even YouTube. I have thought about that. with these fireside chats. I have thought about recording them to make sure that other people can listen to them. So it's something I've considered. The first one I did in here like 3 or 4 weeks ago was completely impromptu. But if you guys really want me to record these and then make them digestible for later, please feel free. Otherwise, content creators, you can record these and try to transcribe them. I'm sorry if I talk a million miles an hour, but please feel free to make content out of these chats as well. Just try to stay accurate to what we're saying and not like break it up and be like, yeah, they totally said there's going to be a Christmas event, because I did not say that.
Oh man, I'm a former journalist. Don't do that to me.
Please don't
Bad
do
things
that
will
to
happen.
us. Will we get more ambitious LTM soon? There's a high possibility that you're going to see some cool LTMs. I promise. 6v6 on Switch. We would love to have 6v6 on Switch. It's a technical limitations issue. So Switch, I think, is something we really have to consider performance on, and Switch, we know that our Switch players deal with a lot of really painful performance issues. And I think our concern with 6v6 is the 6v6 is just way too much for the Switch to handle. So it's not like we hate our Switch players and we don't want them to play 6v6. It's more like 6v6 would be a terrible experience for our Switch players. So we need to consider what modes we can ensure our Switch players can play. And I have seen some questions about like Switch crashing and everything. Yes, we know that Wanted is crashing Switch. It is a high priority for us right now. I've also reported up things like poor performance on Arena and Vice for Switch. So we are aware. Switch has a lot of pain points in terms of performance. So.
Absolutely. I did see a couple questions real quick because I actually am going to have to head
Yeah.
out here, guys, soon. But I do want to answer 2 questions that I've seen a lot. One, I see a lot of questions about theater mode or spectator mode. This is something that is near and dear to my heart because I used to work over in esports for the Paladin. I don't know if you guys watched or play Paladins, but I used to do the Paladins social media and community management over there. But no, on the spectator / theater mode sort of vibe, theater mode and spectator are very, very ambitious, right? And I think one of the core things that we've always talked about on the Rogue Company side of things, and I know Scott's talked about it, Gandhi has talked about it very frequently, in the sense of when we do it, we want to do it right, and we want to do it after we feel like the game's in a really good, solid spot, like as a core, right? And so I know you've probably heard me say that a few times today, but it's just something that's absolutely true. So when we look at like spectator, theater mode, etc., these are things that we know are super valuable for, creators, esports. We've been doing a lot of supporting in various tournaments. We have our first LAN through Skillshot and CMG soon, which is super exciting. But there's a lot of different parts of it. But the point is, spectator and theater are something that's definitely like on the plate, and we're always looking into and always, seeing what we can do with them. Even for me, like selfishly, I'm a social media manager, and so my job is to make cool, fun content for you guys, and I would love tools like that in order to also do that more frequently, right? So it's something we are looking into. We are very curious and excited about, and we want to make sure we do it right. So that's something that is not in the immediate future, but it is something that the team is digging into. So I did see that one. And I did want to answer that one because it is something near and dear to my heart. I absolutely love spectator theater mode. The amount of time I spent in Halo Forge filming random things for YouTube when I was just getting started in this industry is colossal.
There's been a repeated question in here about Battle Pass XP values to know the exact amount of XP required to complete it. That is a suggestion that I can absolutely pass up for those that would love something like that. So when's Shrek coming? Ash, did you come all the way from Radthar's chat just to troll me?
The movie came out years ago.
Yeah.
What? I don't know what you're talking about. It's already out. You can go get it on DVD at Best Buy.
Sir, did you make it all the way from Radthar's chat just to come? Sir.
All right.
Ash knows who I am.
See one more that I want to hit. Merch. Okay. Merch is cool, and we would absolutely love to do merch. Merch is not something that's in our purview, but the amount of times that many of I have talked about getting like a Phantom or a Dima statue for our desks is so high.
Yes.
Literally, it's like a weekly occurrence. Merch is something we'd be really, really into, and I know the team is really into merch as well. We've done some really cool stuff in collaboration back when we launched, like the bomber jackets and stuff that I know Minnie and I wear everywhere now because it's super cold. Thanks, winter. But we've done some stuff like that in the past, and opening up those avenues and getting into some of that stuff is definitely something that we're looking into, specifically again with our marketing team. And of course, if we get into that and have some more on it, we'll be sure to share it out with you guys. But it's a good time. It's a good time. Merch for all. I absolutely love merch, and there's some fun stuff that's being, looked into. So we'll see. But I do, unfortunately, guys, it is a little late for me, and I've got to go get ready for dinner. But thank you for making me speak, Minnie. It's always a pleasure working with you. And I had a great time. So thanks for coming out, guys. Really appreciate it. And of course, if you guys have any questions or anything like that, you're always welcome to hit us up on Twitter at Rogue Company, at Rogue Company Game on Instagram and Facebook. Odds are you're talking to me or our other social media manager.
And please be kind.
That too. That'd be great. If you're kind, we probably
we,
won't answer you. But
I love you all. There is some arguing in the chat right now. If you guys could not argue, that would be super great. We're all friends here. But yeah, there's a couple times where I pop into like some chats and like, oh, everyone's so nice, and there are like other times I pop into some places, like occasionally on Twitter, and I'm just like, oh my god, oh my
it's
god.
one of those. Oh man, it's always one of those situations where, like, especially on update days, if you guys have like a bug or something like that, like odds are that Minnie and I are also like, yeah, that GIF is literally Twitter.
Literally, like me on some platforms, I'll pop in and I'll be like, everything's great. Like I'm on Twitch, everything is great, everything is awesome, and then I'll pop into other places. I'm like, oh my god! And
literally Twitter.
There have been days to like give you a little bit of CM insight, but there have been days where like both AV and I will have to like step away from social media because it can get heavy sometimes. Like we know the pain points in the game, and we play the game too, and we see them, and it's very frustrating. And
share a lot of them.
And there are just days where you go on social media and it gets you really down, is all I'm gonna say. So
when people get my Twitter feed, or more correctly, Rogue Company's Twitter feed, scrolling so fast that it looks like I'm running on a treadmill, I get a little concerned. But thankfully that hasn't happened for a little while. But anyway, guys, I do have to head out. Minnie, have a great night as well. Thanks for having me, guys. And looking forward to talking to you guys more. There's some really cool stuff coming up on social media, so be sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and I'll talk to you there. Have a great one, guys. Enjoy the weekend, and as Nick said, play Rogue. Play Rogue Company. Play games. Do it.
I'm going to be sticking around for a little bit now that AV is leaving. It's just me. This is where I give away all the secrets. Isaiah's still here, though. I can't give away all the secrets, so I'm just kidding. I wouldn't. Isaiah's like, I'm always watching. Give away secrets and codes. Anyways, let's see. She leaves when it's crazy. I come up with the codes and then leave whenever it's crazy. I usually stick around for a little bit after I drop codes in. So funny story. Whenever season 4 launched on Tuesday, I popped into a good number of creators' live streams and just seeing how people are and seeing how people are doing and if they're liking the release and if they're running into any issues and talking with chat and answering their questions, and I sprinkled codes into their chats, and I got banned from from a couple chats who thought that I was a troll. So I popped in and I was like, happy season 4. Here are some codes, and I would just get banned. And I would see all my messages being deleted. That was like real awkward hours. And then someone would be like, that's the CM for Rogue Company. And everyone's like, wait, are they? And I would see them confirming. I had some amazing reactions from people whenever I was dropping into streams. I was like, hi guys, what's up? And then I was like, I'm here, as a CM, I'm seeing how things are going, blah, blah, blah. And then I saw like one guy look at the code that I dropped in chat, and he goes, He turns back to his stream and he goes, huh, and then just keeps playing. And I get banned, and I was like, all right, fine. I'll see myself out. So, yeah. If you see Mini White Rabbit on on Twitch, that is me. I am usually there to try to spread some love and just see how people are doing. So, please don't ban me. It's totally fine whatever you do. I generally have a good laugh out of it, but yeah. Wesker, I see 100 tier battle pass. I know it's 2 a.m. for you. You said this is, we talked about it a little bit earlier, battle pass with a higher tier. Totally happy to pass along that kind of feedback. More rank rewards. Again, totally happy to pass along that feedback. I know that ranked is something that we are working on trying to make a better experience. I know that some players right now have really expressed frustration over the fact that ranked feels like it's just a banner and doesn't feel particularly special. So that's feedback that I've tried to like pass along to the team, and I think it's really valid, especially with we're playing season 4 now, and always down to get your feedback on things like ranked. I really love whenever I can deliver feedback and suggestions to the team rather than just bugs. So for the past couple releases, it's been a lot of bugs and a lot of issues, which is not saying that it is not invalid. It is completely valid. Those are they create a really negative experience. But I really love whenever there is, as weird as this might sound to you guys as a CM, whenever I went to bed on like Tuesday night, I remember just thinking, all the complaints on places like Reddit and Twitter right now are just about things like Talon and balance, and that makes me so happy. And that's not because like, oh, I'm so happy that people are mad, but it's like I'm so happy that there isn't something game breaking right now that is causing players to just be completely unable to play. So something like Talon balance, for instance, like the Talon changes. Pretty Hair was in here earlier, and I talked about it with him in a meeting on Wednesday. And the TLDR is, yeah, we know that players are really unhappy with some of the changes that we made to Talon, and so we're going to be looking into ways in which we can adjust that and make it better. But it's whenever it's something like that players are talking about, instead of I have an issue and I can't even play Rogue Company, it's so relieving, and I'm really happy to be able to deliver like feedback and suggestions to the team rather than all of our players on Switch or like a lot of our players on PS4 or whatever are just like really struggling right now. They are crashing in most of their games. Like, what is going on? So super great. Love it. Super, super awesome. When will this fireside thing be? Because I love this. I did one of these impromptu about 3 or 4 weeks ago and followed Canon Update because there was a lot of pain around Canon Update. So I just jumped in here and was like, let me just do a fireside chat. I had no idea what I was going to call it, by the way. Sorry, I'm kind of in story time right now, but I I did a live stream and I had like 9 people pop in and was just answering questions about the Canon, mostly bugs that people were coming in and like, hey, are you aware of this? Whenever I was streaming on Twitch and playing Rogue Company. And I thought, why don't I just come in here on Discord and answer people's questions in a stage. So I did it very off the cuff on a Friday, and we had like 300 people stop by. So the team wants to do, I think, more of these. I think for like Pretty Hair and Gandhi, these are all like really exciting to just be able to come in and talk about what's going on and get feedback from you guys directly and see suggestions and conversations in a live environment that's not just Twitch. I think that's super great. So we want to do more of these. When will ranked rewards come out for last season? They should have gone out on late Tuesday. So those kind of rolled out a little bit late after the update, but there were a good chunk of players that were eligible, and they should all have them now. So we dug into that a bit, and they just kind of rolled out a little bit late. Wingman competitive. I think we were talking about the about various ranked LTMs. You guys had a lot of love for that whenever Pretty Hair was in here. So he is left with that knowledge. Got one of your codes on Brad UK stream. Thank you. You are welcome. I try to pop in whenever I see Brad playing because he has so much enthusiasm for Rogue Company. I don't know if any of you follow Brad UK. He makes a lot of content for Rogue Company on YouTube, and he's been streaming a lot on Twitch lately. And he has like the most incredible enthusiasm for Rogue Company, and it just warms my heart. So if you haven't checked him out, you should. He's great. I know about him because Radthar also will play with him and vice versa. So if you like Radthar, you'll probably like Brad UK's content as well. Let's see. There were leaks a while back of Rogue Company coming to, I'm going to assume this means mobile. Are you still working on it? And if so, will you implement the graphics over the console and PC to make performance better? So the thing with, I can't really talk about mobile. Can't really talk about mobile. But it's, you're never going to be able to like one-to-one to take to like lift essentially say like models from something like mobile, for instance, and put them into like drag and drop them right into something like Switch, right? And the reason is the way in which like the engine in which things run on can be different. So something like mobile with Unreal 4 may be different than the way in which it interacts with PC and Switch. There's a lot there with how many essentially flat surfaces are on a model in something like mobile and the performance requirements for that versus something like Switch. So this is me getting very deep into the weeds, which no one really wants to hear. But that's challenging. So whose shirt am I buttoning up? I saw a tag about buttoning up a shirt. Roadmaps anytime soon. Not sure when we're going to be putting out another roadmap. So, but I know that this is a question that has come up. Have you fixed the cannon shooting through the walls bug? Do you mean whenever the cannon player is hiding in cover and can shoot someone in cover in certain places? It is something we are aware of. Let's see. Can you record at least audio, maybe publishing it? Hey, we've talked about it. If you guys want us to do that, that's totally fine. Otherwise, I'm totally down for our content creators to record these sessions and get the questions in there and make it for their content. I know that there's a lot of really amazing content creators that have popped by in this chat, and if you want to use this for almighty content, I will be immortalized as content. That is one thing I will be immortalized as. You are totally free to do so. Can we get a cookie emote? Serious question. Hey, man, always willing to pass that along to the art team. Ash2MD has requested a cookie emote, folks. I'll be sure to pass that along. Rogue Mastery Prestige, perhaps? Great. That is also a fantastic suggestion. I know that we have various things in there like emotes and sprays. What kind of prestige would you like to see for Rogue Mastery? I think that's a good question. Procedure Mastery, get a different color mastery border, maybe more rewards. Yeah, like what kinds of incentives and prestige would you like to see for if you? I know that good company is an achievement that is currently broken. But besides that achievement that is broken, what kind of things would you like to see? By the way, in the shooting range, when you change rogue, sometimes it will change your player model to Dallas instead of the actual rogue. That's because all rogues are Dallas. That's why whenever say there's a rogue that's missing, there was a bit where there was a max skin missing from players' inventories, but if they chose that max skin, they came out as Dallas, and that's because all rogues are Dallas. So that's why. Fun fact. That's why the like Spider-Man Dallas thing exists, is because rogues are Dallas. So yeah. You're all Dallas inside. Hello, Brad. Brad, have you checked your email? Just make sure you check your email is all I'm saying. Let's see. Yeah, totally. If you guys have like, by the way, these kind of conversations of I would like to see Rogue Mastery Prestige inside of Roco. Like, say I master all of the rogues. What kinds of rewards would you like to see? These are great questions for things like Reddit. I know that we have a lot of stakeholders that are high up in Rogue Company that read Reddit. I read Reddit pretty frequently, and by pretty frequently, I mean daily. But have these conversations on Reddit, have these conversations here, and I'm always happy to shuttle those along to the team. Things like the account boost, ticking down, which I can talk about the bugs there, but the account boost ticking down while people were in lobby and were in queue was something we kind of knew about, but I pushed on it extremely hard. So I would like to think that the community feedback and suggestions here, as well as then me kind of shoving the team on that, is really what created that quality of life change in the last update. So if you have those kind of things, those pieces of feedback, those suggestions that are they're really, really wanted by the community, I am more than happy to bring those up, and we can figure out where they prioritize in. I think things like the account boost was pretty high because so many players use them. And I think they kind of ended up in a high spot because of that, and it was a relatively easy thing to implement, which is why they made it in. So yeah, totally happy. I'm still confused how every map is made of triangles and how the skin models are made. I mean, it's everything is flat surfaces, polygons. So if you this gets really into the weeds, but everything in the game is made up of flat surfaces. And the more flat surfaces your GPU has to render, the tougher it can be for performance, which is why things like Cyberpunk 2077 they ran so poorly on things like the PS4, is because there's so many flat surfaces for the game to render. There's no loading screens. There's so much for the GPU to load. So all of that has to be considered whenever you're taking a model and putting it in a game. From my previous experience working on another project, we had really poor performance in one of our games because of trees. The tree models inside of the game basically had too many triangles on them and too many surfaces. And so taking out like half the trees in the map improved performance. Another thing that improved performance was replacing our map compass, because that was a widget that was taking up a lot of RAM. So very cool. I also really want to talk about really quickly, because I know that there have been some questions about things like account boosts no longer stacking. This sounds like this is a bug. We're going to investigate that. There's also an issue that's going to probably be hotfixed sometime either today or next week. That's not going to cause any downtime or anything like that. But basically, when people are getting into a match with like 5 minutes remaining on their account boost, and then they're getting out of a match, if that match then was like 17 minutes or whatever, once they get out of the match and they pop another account boost, say a 30-minute boost, it subtracts that 17 minutes. So that's why you're seeing this gap where it's like, I've popped a boost after my boost ran down, and it's now missing time. That's why. That's going to be fixed. So we're actually currently working on a fix just for that. Making it so you can purchase account boost with rep. Also, great suggestion. It's not about a trip mine, but it's close. Is it about pickles, though? Wildflowers. Is it about pickles? Really great question there. There's a map called Compass now. No, but I have worked on, as I said, I've worked on a game where the compass overlaying the map was causing performance issues. Why can't others hear when Kestrel says fly? I'm not sure. Great question. Like enemies? Maybe, Dino. Oh, Dino. It may be an intentional thing, like design, maybe an intentional thing, may not be. Teammates, I think it makes sense. For enemies, I think, you kind of want the element of surprise, so that may be an intentional thing. But yeah. Yeah, they aren't stacking either. Yeah, as I said, I think that might be an issue that we're going to investigate it. It might be an issue. Scrolling up here about these various things. Exotic wraps for rogue rank, ranked kill feed color, colored wraps. Yep. Okay. Oh, thank you, Brad. I see. By the way, this is a great idea. I've done one of these before, and it seemed to go pretty well. So happy to do more of these. So Scott was supposed to be in this one, and Scott is on baby duty, so he was unable to join. But we had Pretty Hair in here earlier, so if someone has recorded this, there you go. I will do my best, by the way, to reiterate questions before I give answers. That way, for anyone that's recording this, there's actual context whenever someone listens to it. So I'll try to do better about that. I just got rejected. It might be about pickles. I love all things Disney, so send it my way. Even if it's pickles, like pickles are delicious and Disney pickles are delightful. Disney food in general, if any of y'all have been to the parks, Disney food, so good. Mint juleps, I could just sit there and drink mint juleps at Disney all day long. What about Rogue? You said I think this might be Rogue Ren. I'm not sure in what context this is, Kronos, but like Rogue Rank, what context? But I see Rogue Rent, and I just want rogues to start paying rent. You know, I have to pay rent. Why shouldn't they have to pay rent? Let's see. How does your design team decide who to make skins for? Art team. Art team is the one that makes skins. And how they decide, I'm not entirely sure. I imagine some of it may have to do with who might be best suited for a theme, or kind of what, say they have an idea for, like, we want to make a battle pass skin with this kind of theme. Who best suits that? So maybe something like that. But again, that's not something that I have as much insight into, is exactly how. So, you know, couldn't tell you for certain. The Nova needs to be lit up longer at max power. There was a bug with the revolver, with Cannon's revolver, with the Nova weapon wrap, where it was very bright. It was eye-bleedingly bright. So maybe not that bright. Have they mentioned any champions and paladins? This is not the paladins Discord, and I am not the paladins CM, so I can't answer you any questions about paladins. I'm so sorry. Text chat we talked about, and Pretty Hair was in here. The answer was probably not. And all chat was kind of wrapped into that discussion as well, because really there's no reason to have, like, one, with text chat, really difficult for players on consoles. Like, how exactly would they use it, and would it be used for anything other than being really toxic to your team in the most cases? This is also, like, all chat and, you know, cross team voice chat. Again, like, is there any reason that you would need to talk to the enemy team except to, like, trash talk or be toxic, or just in general, like, creating a really toxic environment inside of the match? So some of the things I see most on Twitter from Brad is the request for individual customization to return. Is this being looked into, creating more flexibility, or are we currently limited due to weapon mastery? So the reason in which this is not in the game currently is because weapon mastery is like a whole system. And unfortunately, something like having customization per rogue, like loadouts per rogue, that as it was before, where you could have a weapon wrap per rogue, this isn't something that can just be copy and pasted back in. This is something that the team is talking about and wants to implement, or I should say, like re-implement. But it's going to require a not insignificant amount of development work, which is why like it's something we want to do. I don't have an ETA on when it will make a return, but it's something we want to do. It's just, should we put the resources towards something like that, or should we put them towards things like bug fixing right now? And right now, I feel that the team has really erred on the side of, I want to make sure that that we want to make sure that we're really trying to fix some of the bugs that are in the game, that are really causing some pain points. Like I would say, just off the top of my head, like someone went missing, errors in matches, lag and latency in matches. People have put up a lot of videos of things like they're in a match and someone is lagging all over the place and they're unable to hit them and like what's going on. Things like that are really high priority. All the audio issues I would say that we have are really high priority as well, because there's so much of this game that is reliant on people having audio. I know that myself personally, I take a lot of audio cues whenever I'm playing Rogue Company. I will frequently sit and listen to try to figure out where people are. But I'm also trash, so take that for for what it's worth. But things like footsteps disappearing, all sounds except rogue quips disappearing, the Nova weapon wrap audio, the cannon distortion with the Gatling gun, Xbox One, the clips recording without sound. Those are really top issues for us. Things like seasonal contracts not completing consistently. Wanted performance currently on Switch is something that the team is working on, like literally as I speak, because Wanted is creating a lot of crashes on Switch. Aim assist is not locking onto heads when players are behind cover. That's something that we are working on right now. And then there's things like barbed wire smoke, phantom smoke, incendiary fire becoming invisible. That is a top priority, like high issue for us, and barbed wire and gadgets falling through the map. So yeah, and there's also, someone brought this up earlier, in LTM right now, and TDM specifically, trip mines are not despawning. So you can literally spam a match with trip mines and it's not a good time. So those are things that are really high priority for us, and making sure that those things are kind of nailed down and in a better place, I think, before we move on to like introducing more big systems into the game that may ultimately break things. So it's something that we're thinking about. It's something that we want to do. Let's see. Can we choose lobby music from previous seasons? This is a great question. I don't know really what that would entail. So I don't know if that's something that we would have to be concerned about with rights. We have a lot of music from Run the Jewels, so I don't know if that's something that we could do because of like legal rights to that music. So I'm not sure, but I think that's a great suggestion. I thought that the season 3 music, for instance, total banger, incredible. Really like this music too, but that season 3 music was so good. A co-op campaign mode. I don't think that would require a, as I said before, my favorite phrase, a not insignificant amount of work, but I think it's a very cool idea. So I think that's something that that I could throw into your suggestion box over here, my ye old suggestion box on my third screen. Toss it in. Any new updates, changes to the Discord server? What kind of changes to the Discord server would y'all like to see? What kind of changes? You tell me. You tell me. Bum, 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 It's reading through here. Mythic skins for melee weapons. Part of me wants to make a Radthar stream joke, because someone on Radthar's stream, he has a level 100 mastery on the bat, and I'm sure he would absolutely love a mythic weapon wrap for a bat. So again, into the wonderful suggestion box. A chat for veterans who would like to see So there's a question here. Would like to have the option to change head and body skins individually. Could this be possible? Another one on the same rogue. I mean, outside of outfits that you currently like skins that you currently pick. I don't think I think that would require a lot of work. I can't imagine something like that would ever make it in, just because of the amount of work it requires to sculpt a model. So let me get a little bit into the weeds with y'all. So whenever you're sculpting a model, you sculpt out a game model, and then you essentially have to like kind of break it up into pieces parts. Just saw like 51 listening, 50 listening. Me, it's gonna get into the weeds. I'm sorry, that one person that left. But essentially, you have to like kind of break that model up into parts. Then this is kind of how like MMOs work. So the way in which you can like put gear onto a model in MMOs. I'll just use Final Fantasy 14 as an example because it's something I'm currently playing. But I've worked on Star Wars: The Old Republic, and I've played like Warhammer Online, Dark Age of Camelot. So a lot of experience with the MMOs in particular, where this kind of like dressing up your doll is essentially a thing, like your model, your doll. The way in which that works is you have like, yes, you have like this base, but then every single piece of clothing has to be designed to fit on that paper doll, basically. So something like the hair on one model of one of our rogues would probably not work with the body, because that's one whole, like it's one whole piece. So the reason in which like your hair doesn't change in an MMO without just like going in and you just generically change the hair, but there's nothing like except for like pieces that fit on, is because it's like a paper doll. So that would require a absolute ton of work, because something, say if we have a piece of armor that's on a headpiece of one of our outfits, and you then replace the rest of the body, what happens to that piece of armor that's on the head? Because that's technically part of the model. It's all like one big piece, that it has bones and everything. So it's not like there's a doll underneath and then the clothes go on top. The clothes are part of the model. So that's how that kind of works. I know that that's kind of like in the weeds, but that's kind of how that's that all works together. Mouse and keyboard support in consoles. I have seen this before, and it's something that I'm happy to put into the suggestions, but I don't know if it's something that we could ever do. I'm not sure, but happy to put that into the suggestions. Any changes to the Discord server? I see this coming up. Increase in shop rotations. I believe we were doing more shop rotations in the past. If there's a lot of demand for an increase in shop rotations, I'm absolutely happy to bring that to the team as a suggestion. But I know that we rotated more. We rotated the shop more in the past. Music packs like in Smite. You know, that would be very cool. I think that would be really cool if we had music packs. Someone has also mentioned to me before announcer packs. That has come up before. I think that's a super cool idea. Isaiah is here in chat, and he would have more knowledge about the ways in which that works on Smite. I don't know how much that would work for Rogue Company, but partner Discord. Things about partner Discord. Sorry, I'm reading your chat. I'm gonna bounce, by the way, in about 15 minutes, because it's gonna be 6 o'clock here, and I've been talking for 2 hours, and I don't know if anyone watched Dune, but if anyone else here has seen Dune, but my lips and my mouth like currently represent Arrakis. So Arrakis, Dune. Here's the Mind Killer, a tiny death. reading your chat. Scroll wheel for emotes. Not a bad idea. First person. I don't know if so. First person in Rogue Company. I doubt this will ever be a thing because of the amount of work that would then go into where the camera sits and the modeling of the hands and the gun. So currently, like, you can scope, and that's as as close to first person as I think we'll ever get, because it is building a game around the that first person mode. I don't know if anyone else has sunk in just as many hundreds of hours in Overwatch as I have, but if you look at the way in which the models, the game models, the character models look in third person mode versus how they look in first person mode, it can be vastly different. Consider like Moira, I think, is a good example in Overwatch, and the way in which her ability looks in first person as opposed to the way it's represented in third person. It's almost completely different. So I think that it would be weird. It would be a difficult change. It would be difficult to do. All right, guys, I'm gonna be here for, you have me for 13 more minutes. 13 more minutes. Ask your questions. 1,000+ hours, and I have about just so you guys know, I have over 600 hours on Mercy, because I was a Phil main, and being a Phil main means you're a Mercy main. But I probably have like 12 or 1,300 hours in Overwatch total. So back in the day whenever I played Overwatch. How many subs do you have to be a Rogue partner? So just for confusion's sake, we have there were Rogue partners, which were people that were streaming on the Rogue Company channel, and it's something that we no longer have any Rogue partners. So we have no one else streaming on the Rogue Company channel. Like, for instance, we had Elvin on there, we had Bandit on there, we had Gummy on there, and Radthar and a couple others, and they were partners, and so that meant that they were streaming to the twitch.tv/Rogue Company channel. But we do not currently have our partner program running. We do have the content creator program, and that has specific guidelines for how many you need. iHard is a content creator, yes. So if you go to Rogue Company, I think it's creators. Yeah, it's creators. I don't know how many of you guys can hear my blue keyboard. I'm sorry, my blue switches. But here are the guidelines for Rogue Company creator program requirements. Very, very rarely we will invite a creator into that program that doesn't quite meet the guidelines, because we think that their content is really great. They're really, really passionate. They're very, very consistent. So it really depends. So if someone is just, they make a lot of Roco content, they're really passionate about the game, they make really good quality content too, they have a really great community following, it's very positive, we will, even if they don't quite make it in, like maybe they're under the numbers by like 100 or 200 if it's like the 2,000, or maybe they're underneath the consistent average concurrent viewers by like 10 or 5 or something like that, like a small margin. We'll invite them in because we really want to promote this person, we really want this person in the program, we think that they're important to the community, and we really want to highlight what they do. So that's kind of where we fall whenever I'm doing this. We will at some point be expanding the creator program so that players who are like cosplayers, who are artists, who are musicians, people who make like Rogue Company content that is not just video production with, say, Twitch or YouTube, people who do podcasts, that kind of thing, and have certain follower bases, they will also be able to apply. So we're going to expand this in the future. It's not expanded right now, but in the future it will be expanded, and people who make other kinds of content will be in there. Will there be any type of Arabic content in the future? If there is a significant number of players who would like to see Arabic content, that's something I can pass along. I don't know necessarily how big that player base is in Rogue Company right now, but accessibility is something that is super important. So if there's a good number of players who would find value in that, I'm happy to pass that along. Let's see. People talk story mode. We've talked a little bit in here about single player modes. I'm sorry, my brain is kind of like at this point after 2 hours of talking, it's just kind of like, but we've talked about other kind of game modes, and as for like co-op and story mode, I think that would be personally very, very cool. But I don't have any updates for you on that front. Is there a list of current content creators that we can check? Yes, actually. So without telling anyone, which is great, if you scroll down into the art section in this Discord, there is a channel at the very top called Creator Listing. And if you go there, those are all of our current Twitch creators, YouTube creators, and international creators and communities. So give them some love. They're amazing. So it is, I'm just going to drop it in here. The only person I think might be the German community Discord does not work. Okay, I will message them and see if they have an updated link. I believe the only person on this list that might be missing is Tenik, and Tenik is also a creator and needs to be added to this list. So that's something for me to do later to make sure that Tenik is added. So if you guys follow Tenik, yes, he is absolutely part of our creator list. He might just not have made it in because I juggle about 7 spreadsheets with creators. So yeah, it's quite a bit. Community skin design contest. I think these are great ideas. The problem with things like a community skin design contest, I believe we're going to do a community contest of some sort in the future. I believe it's something that we've been working on, and it just kind of would get pushed back because of focusing on updates, and we've had some kind of rough updates, and that has taken a lot of the team's time. But we want to do something related to like a community designed cosmetic of some variety for Rogue Company. The difficult thing, speaking as a community manager, the difficult thing about whenever people submit things like fan art that they want to be made into a game is then you get into the nitty gritty of intellectual property. And say a player submits this really great skin idea to a company, is like, hey, I came up with this really cool idea for like Kestrel, let's say, and then say we used that without any sort of like, if we just took it and we just made it into a skin without any sort of like deal with that content creator, or really worked out like the intellectual property, that puts the company in a lot of legal concern, trouble space. Like, oh god, oh boy, like let's not get sued. So that's something that is like, we have to be really careful with how those things are done and considered, because of like, there are probably, you guys probably play or have played games that have and developers that have actually been sued for either lifting a community idea or something very close to a community idea, or the likeness of another person, or even just like the perceived likeness of another person. There have been a couple lawsuits in the industry around things like that. So we had to be really careful with that kind of thing, because yeah, we don't want to lift someone's intellectual property without making sure that they're involved in that process. And so it's a very messy area. And so I don't know of any developer really that decides to take something from a player and throw it directly into the game, just in case.